Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Highly Suspicious Podcast with Louie and Preston. My name is Louie.
I'm Preston.
We are reporting once again live from the Trap House. Thank you all for coming to kick it with us again. It is the 10th episode. I've never stuck with anything for this long.
Oh my god.
I'll be honest. I've never stuck with anything for this long.
Commitment.
I don't even know if I have 10 of anything.
That you've made?
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
And this is honestly something I'm proud of. This is something that I put a lot of work into, Preston puts a lot of work into, and I'm just glad that anyone's out there listening and somewhat appreciating it.
Like, I like anytime I'm talking to someone and they give me feedback about the podcast or, like, any idea that they've listened to it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even care. Like, I'm not going to sit and carry on a conversation about it, but, like, it's nice to hear, for sure.
Yeah. I almost feel bad, like, bringing it up around people, because sometimes I do want to be like, oh, we talked about that on my podcast. I just don't want to be the type of person to constantly self-plug myself, because, I mean, I feel like I already plug myself a lot.
Yeah.
I have a lot of shit that I have to promote.
Dude, I've done that a lot recently, where I'll just be like, yeah, on the podcast we talked about yada, yada, yada. And, like, I'm just like that. I end up talking about the same thing with a bunch of different people.
Yeah.
Like, that's my conversational skills, for sure. So it ends up just translating to whatever I talked about the podcast is what you're going to hear me talk about.
Yeah, the same thing. Well, I mean, you're really getting the real us on this podcast, so that's why some people that know us don't want to listen to us, because they're like, why would I want to hear you talk about something when I could talk to you about it, you know?
Yeah.
But, I mean, we go deeper than I think you would in a casual conversation for the sake of a podcast.
Right, for the amount of time that we really talk for, like, we do deep dive on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want it to grow, because, like, it's definitely about being heard. Realistically, like, that's most of why anybody does anything. So what are we talking about, Louie? I know we're just chilling, just vibing with the lights out.
We are currently in the dark. I think I like it.
Yeah, me too.
I don't like the lights.
Vibey. I want better lighting in here.
Better lighting? That's the opposite of darkness.
Like mood
Preston.
lighting. No. Like the little LED lights that I have a remote control for kind of lighting.
I feel like LEDs can be too bright, though. Because, I mean...
Not on a white setting. I would never have it on white. But, like, red?
Maybe. Yeah. Facts.
Purple?
The headlights on people's fucking car just blind me when they're LED. It's like a Mercedes.
That's the
so
worst.
It's like a new car, and it fucking flashes me and blinds me. Like, what the fuck?
It's like past a certain year, a lot of cars have those really bright, high beam-esque, like, even if it's just a regular-ass lights, just super fucking white. God, I hate that shit. And especially driving with glasses, it just makes it into horrible glare where I can't see anything out of my rear view mirror.
Makes sense.
And, like, in the rain, that shit is 10 times worse.
Mm-hmm.
That, I, like, cannot see behind me if that is the case. The rain fucks with me anyways with, like, glasses and glare.
Do you think that the LED lights really fuck with me because of my LASIK? You think that I have, like, light sensitivity or something?
You could. I don't know. I've thought about it. My vision's not that bad. I could try to get LASIK at some point. Like, it hasn't even progressed that much in the past few years. Probably something that could be corrected like that.
They might just do one eye, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like monovision. And it's supposed to, like, correct itself. Like, just having two eyes open and one good eye, like, your brain, like, auto-corrects it, so it makes it look like, you know, you're seeing 20/20 in both fucking eyes.
Gotcha, yeah. It's like, putting the... You get what I'm saying? Like, where you can see through your hand because you can still see, like, the rest of it with your other eye.
Yeah.
So it recreates it.
We're putting our hands in front of our face for the listeners who can't see what we're doing. Do you know if your hand's bigger than your face, you have cancer?
Shit.
No, hold it in front of your face. You're not supposed to. That's okay.
What?
Never mind.
No, I remember the first time somebody said that to me, and I just like took the entire hand and was like, "Yep."
Do you ever think about like shit that people used to say when we were younger and question like how that affects like our speech patterns today? Like I think about that like, oh, I remember he used to talk like that, so now I talk a little, you know what I'm saying?
Well, just like I've noticed a lot of the time, who you hang around with affects how you talk a lot.
Definitely.
So like, just hanging out with you, I definitely started to talk like you a little bit, and like,
and vice versa.
right, and like
We are becoming the one.
the one,
If we do this podcast for long enough, it'll just sound like one voice.
yeah, but
talking to itself.
like, and that's consistent. That's like a survival thing almost. You have to think of, like, I think about that at least
What?
as being like a survival thing of like adapting to sound like who you're around. It's like the same reason you.
How so? How would that evolutionarily help?
Well, like, it's easiest to learn another language when you're immersed in that language, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, you're going to communicate better with somebody if you talk more like them. So, when you're hanging out with somebody, you're going to be better at speaking to them if you speak more similar to them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know, maybe. I think shit like that's really interesting. Just, like, humans,
Well,
like, anthropology.
I used to talk badly. Like,
Badly.
when I was, like, in elementary school, they had me, like, in speech therapy. Even, even to this day, I still have, like, problems speaking a simple sentence sometimes. But I remember, like, in middle school even, like, I would take, like, these big pauses in between sentences. And I was really just thinking about, like, how to say something.
Dang.
And people were like, why do you do that? Like, why do you leave such wide spaces when you're talking?
It's okay. You can just sound really important for
but-
no reason.
But the point of that is to say that I've always modeled the way I talk off of, like, other people.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously a lot of it's, like, parental. But, I mean, I don't talk like my parents. Like,
Right.
You've heard... Have you met my dad? You have,
I have met your dad once.
We don't really talk alike, but we're damn near the same person.
Like, I think about who my voice sounds like sometimes. I might sound kind of like my dad,
Mm-hmm.
but, like,
I don't know if I've ever met your dad.
I also have a lot of vocal fry,
Mm-hmm.
so I end up just sounding kind of like a stoner. Like, just generic stoner voice.
Or a hippie, or...
Yeah, something like that. But the other day I was like, I don't know, I was trying to hype Nikki up, and it was just over text, so I just like, I was excited, because I was baked, so I said, yo, go off. She was like, you don't talk like that, who is this? And I was like, no, I'm just trying to be nice, trying to hype you up.
Do you think that, like, the way you text is different from the way you talk in real life?
For sure.
Outside of, like, you know, basic shit, like, obviously you're going to use, like, acronyms and shit. Not acronyms. What the fuck are they called? The letters, like WYD or...
I mean, technically it would be an acronym, because it's like...
That's what it's called? Okay.
There's
I thought
probably
it was
a
wrong.
text lingo for it, but...
But, like, outside of, like, basic shit like that, like, I think I probably talk different online than in real life.
Yeah. I try to be just as casual. I don't use any periods, and, like, I'm more likely to send another text or commas and statements.
Yeah.
There we go. Got it out.
Words hard.
Dude, I'm a little fried.
Me no think. It's the Zookies.
We made Muddy Buddies, which are like chocolate and peanut butter with like the Chex Puff cereal, but we added some weed oil to it. So it was in the chocolate. They were strong. Nikki and I killed them all yesterday. Fried. They were so good.
What's the best thing to do when you're fried? Play video games?
For me, yeah.
Bro,
If I'm the right amount of high, I like driving.
No, any amount of high.
Like hiking or like just being outside. Maybe not hiking, but just like chilling outside. Movies and food.
I feel like I'd rather like do something than watch something.
Yeah.
I'll listen to something like music and shit, because that just hits different. But like, I don't know, a lot of like movies and shit aren't really enhanced by it.
Depends on the movie.
Definitely depends on the movie.
Some movies for sure are.
But a lot of them don't even really like do anything visually.
Comedies are funnier if you're high.
Definitely.
Documentaries are better if you're high.
Do you have state-dependent memory when it comes to gaming? What do you, like with
what does that fucking mean?
Do you know what state-dependent memory means? It's like memory depending on like what state of mind you're in. So like shit
conditional memory.
Like shit that you only remember when you're drinking.
I was about to say, is it like some people will chew gum to study for a test, and then chew gum when they take the test?
That. Yes.
Okay, got you. Yeah, maybe a little bit. Do you? Will you like go to play video games not high and be like, fuck, what was I doing?
I can't lie. I will play Rocket League sober and I'll be buns. I'll be fucking cheeks because I'm not high. And then,
oh my God.
And then when I get a little juice in my system, it's just like
natural.
It's like flipping a switch. It's uncanny.
I think creatively, weed helps me get in the zone. Mm-hmm. So, if I'm like drawing, I definitely feel worse at it sober.
Yeah.
And if I'm like budded, I'm confident with it. Video game wise, I think it helps me relax. So yeah, I'm also better at video games high. Because I was thinking about it, my playstyle has changed.
Is it state dependent memory?
I don't know.
Because being more relaxed wouldn't necessarily help you.
I don't know. If I'm like going, oh shit, and just like running.
Saying oh shit makes you play better. That's a proven fact. Bro, my roommates think I'm crazy because I fucking scream extremities in all hours of the night. I'm like, fuck!
Carl at Rec Bar was making sound effects while playing on the arcade machines. And I was dying. I was like, look at this fucking child. But I swear, I used to do shit like that. I used to like fidget around while I was playing video games and like make noises. And I think it does make you better. Like, it's the same reason that you do like yelling when you do karate chops in karate. Like, there's something about the sound. Your warrior screams while you do shit.
Did you do karate when you were younger?
I wish, man.
I did karate. I
wish I had done something like that. I did gymnastics.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
It was fun. Foam blocks, all that.
That shit was fire.
Yeah. No, I wish I had learned how to kick ass as a child. That would have been dope.
That's why I'm such a great mixed martial artist fighter now.
I'm sure.
Because of my roots in karate.
My roots.
Caroline thinks it's so funny. I have this picture in my room at my parents' house where I'm like in like the white karate robe and I have my blue belt on.
Your blue belt, bro.
And I have like two like katanas in my head. And I'm like 10 years old, and that's a hard ass picture. That's just how they posed me. It was fucking sick though. It was worth it just for the photo op.
Dude, I want to get a katana or like
To defend
or a sword.
To defend the homestead.
Obviously. I'd kick ass. I swear to God, like, all I got is a bat right now. Sword's better than a bat in my mind. Also, like, I'm gonna be honest. We're keeping it real on the pod. You can cut this out if you want. I sleep naked. So...
Go on.
So my crazy ass coming at you with a sword butt naked would scare any intruder away. I swear to God, that's my mentality. I am naked as fuck coming at you with a samurai sword. Get the fuck out of my house.
A giant naked man would be enough on its own. I don't think you even need a katana, because you think, what the fuck's going on here? I need to get out of here. But no, the katana's actually less efficient when it comes to, like, if there's like multiple foes that enter your apartment, unless there's just one guy that breaks in your house, which I guess is possible.
I think that's more
but
likely.
like, if you like fucking like stab somebody, like that shit's going to be like deeply embedded in there. You're not going to be able to just like pull out like in the fucking TV shows.
No,
like,
man, I want
if that
like
shit's lodged in like bone, like
I want like a Viking sword. Like, look, you can order replicas of the swords from Lord of the Rings. I want one of those. I want Gandalf's giant ass sword just to like cleave somebody's head off if they break in. I'd learn like sword technique just for that shit. Just for one devastating move.
The final blow. The fatality.
The fatality. I'd say that while I did it too. Fatality. I play too many video games. I'm out here thinking I'd know how to kick somebody's ass with a sword.
Holy shit.
That one was huge.
Preston just blew the most fire smoke ring. If they did... If they didn't already think that we just do this show high all the fucking time, they do now.
This is the chaotic, we're stoned as hell episode.
This is gonna be the episode where Caroline's grandmother tunes in, and he's like, "Well, I don't like that Louis chap anymore."
I thought you got along really well with her family, though.
I do.
What a good boy.
Until they see the podcast.
Let's just get stoned as fuck.
I'm already there.
Let's just keep going. I'll bust out my weed next.
During the beginning of quarantine, we used to have these romantic getaways.
Romantic
in the middle of the night, because we weren't allowed to see other people, because we were living at, I was living at my parents' place, and Preston was living at his grandparents', right? So neither side wanted us to see basically anybody for a while.
Which is understandable, but like...
So we would wait until Preston's wild-ass grandparents went to sleep.
I don't know why the fuck
2 or 3 in the morning.
Dude, my grandfather stays up consistently till 2 in the morning. He is such a night owl, like, no sleep mode.
My dad used to stay up, like, so late when I was younger, but now he's old and I don't even live there to be able to take advantage of it, because he's like, how the mighty have fallen, because he's like, it hits 10 o'clock and he's like, alright, I'll just go to bed now. And he used to be wild.
My dad's like, honestly, he has sleeping issues, and I worry that I'm going to end up like that, because
apnea.
He'll stay up, like, consistently till 2 in the morning. And my grandfather probably has sleep apnea as well.
I don't think that's that crazy, though.
Yeah. It's just, like, too much, though. Because I know I can easily stay up till 1 or 2 in the morning.
I worry about it.
But, like, I try to be good and not fuck up my sleep schedule too much. And I've liked recently, like, going to bed at 10 o'clock and getting up at, like, 6 or 7 for work, and on my days off getting up at 8 or 9. Like, having to walk a dog and shit's giving me a routine.
Yeah. I hate the routine. Routine has grasped
consumed
hold
you.
of me, and it's not letting go. Because
Sometimes
my
it's
sleep
like
schedule, my sleep schedule is so that like I'm always going to just like wake up at a certain time. Like I usually wake up at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and when I don't even have shit to do, it's like, come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just can't fucking sleep in. Like I don't know what's wrong with me. I just have a lot of fucking energy.
The latest I sleep in is like a little while ago. I slept until like 11 o'clock. But honestly, I don't even feel good when I sleep in anymore, which is kind of fucked. Like sometimes I just want to chill in bed, but I'll end up just like waking up and chilling on my phone for a while.
Yeah.
But like,
That's
I miss being able to sleep into like 12, 2 o'clock even, and just wake up feeling like limber.
We're just fucking old now.
I swear, it's
we're
like
not old, but like our bodies just don't need as much sleep as they did when we were teenagers, and it's honestly like an adjustment period because it's like I still want to fucking sleep that long.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
and if
such
you're
a
staying
lazy
up
piece of
late,
shit.
because the other night I was up till like 2 in the morning, but I still woke up at 9.
Yeah.
On my day off.
That's what I'm
For
saying.
no fucking reason. Like,
That's
yeah,
what I'm
I felt
saying.
fine, and I know I could have like slept if I wanted to, but I also just have the hardest time going back to sleep.
I do too.
Like, I'm not a heavy sleeper, so if something wakes me up, I end up just like chilling for a minute, adjusting, and then going back to sleep. Like, it fucking sucks. It consistently takes me 30 minutes to fall asleep. Like, every night. And then that means I just have to go to bed earlier. But I'm so bad at that.
Bro, I'm so good at going to sleep. I'm really good at going to sleep now. Like, I used to be so bad at it. But,
I wish.
But
Nikki
now I'm just
passes
like...
out on a dime, man.
I do
like,
too.
I can't let her... This used to happen a lot more when we started dating. But I couldn't let her pick movies because she would fall asleep immediately.
Yeah.
And, like, now we've gotten better at that. But still, it'll happen and I'll just be like, well, fuck it. Guess I'm playing video games. Like, because I've done it before where I've just, like, finished the movie without her and then she wants to watch it again because she doesn't see it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck. I didn't want to watch this movie again. It was worth that one watch.
Right.
A lot of movies are like that where it's worth the one watch and then fuck it. Like...
That's most movies, honestly. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what movie could make me not do that. I have trouble with falling back to sleep because my dreams haunt me.
Really? You have intense dreams?
No, I don't. I'm bullshit.
I have, like, no dreams, bro.
I definitely have dreams. So sometimes you're weird.
I'll remember them. They're always weird. I only dream in black and white. Apparently my grandmother dreams in, like, vivid colors anytime she has a dream. Like, I think she dream journals. Like, she remembers that so well. And, like... I can remember my dreams, but they're always just when it's weird as fuck. Mm-hmm. A lot of the time, I like swear I'm just dreaming of like black. I don't know. That sounds kind of weird. Dreaming of the void.
A lot of people don't think they dream when they actually do. It's just
true.
You have to wake up during REM to even remember it. So that's why it's always I was dreaming and then I woke up. You know.
Interesting.
Like you don't remember fucking dreams from like
sometimes
when you first
though,
fall asleep.
Sometimes though, if I do wake up in a dream, I can force myself to go back to sleep and finish that shit.
I've definitely done that.
It's
before.
a good feeling when you get that conclusion.
I need to go back. My people need me.
Dude,
my unit can't fare without me.
There are some people who believe that like dreams transport you to a different reality. Like your brain waves enter a different vibration and like you are put into another reality in like somebody else's experience. I think that's wild. Like,
yeah.
Scientifically improbable.
What if we all
But metaphysically, I find that very intriguing.
What if we just all live in a turtle's dream?
Bro, we could.
Like a giant sea turtle.
Giant sea turtle. I do think it's possible that we are in a simulation.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. I've said before, like, fuck it. We could really be some, like, celestial being science experiment. Like, we could be some kid's science project. Just, like, microbes growing on some moldy bread. Like, in the scale of the universe.
I've really came around on the whole being in a simulation thing, because at one point I was just like, there's no way it could be a thing. But I'm Christian, and I think that intelligent design is a thing, and that intelligent design could very well be programming, you know?
Yeah, fair enough.
Us being like a specific purpose, you know?
Well, dude, like, what if the entire universe is just like a computer, and we're just computing stuff by existing?
Yeah.
You know, like, there's so much energy in the universe. What if we're just a fuel cell, like
Yeah.
Rick and Morty type shit? But that's not too crazy. Like, a pocket reality to charge something, that's a lot of energy. It's the same reason that, like, the best energy source we could have is like a mini sun. Crazy. Like, people like to go for like, we're ants in the grand scheme of things, but I feel like realistically we're less than that.
We are less than that. I mean, think about it.
You might as well be like a tardigrade compared to how big the universe is. And if there's alternate realities, like, they're all coexisting, I definitely think of it as like one model that I've seen where it's like a grid system and they all exist simultaneously.
Yeah.
Just kind of floating around next to each other. Like, then we're even smaller.
I mean, the whole universe could be a molecule for something else. Like,
Right.
there's a lot out there.
There is a lot out there, and there's so much we don't understand. And, like, science has changed so much.
Yeah.
Just throughout recorded history. And even, like, before that, you have to think of what would be considered science in, like, prehistory. Because people had to discover, like, medicine and, like, enough biology to, like, hunt animals. Like, we learned about animals and, like, ourselves more than we did about the cosmos. It was all just, like, equated to gods. And then, like, physics just took off at one point. So physics is a relatively young science in comparison. Medical science before that. Because there was one point where we were just like, yeah, let's do open surgeries or like, dude, one of the weirdest things is enemas were a surprisingly common treatment for things in, like, medieval times.
Yeah.
They just, like, stick shit up your ass, and that's how they're gonna cure you. This is so fucking weird.
They also did a lot of bloodletting.
Yeah. Humans are so stupid. Humans are so stupid.
To this day.
To this day. We're
It's
fucking
weird.
crazy.
It kind of freaks me
We think
out.
we're smart. That's the weirdest part.
It kind of freaks me out seeing, like, signs that, like, ancient Egyptians could have been, like, smarter than us. Like, if they could have had, like, technology, like, vastly superior to what we have now, because they...
You watching Ancient Aliens, Louis?
I want to do an episode on Egypt. I want to do an episode on
the ancient world.
Aliens back then.
Yeah.
Potentially. Or this hyper advanced civilization. That
I honestly have no reason to doubt that, like, gods, because there are a lot of gods that go throughout different religions, are just like aliens that were chilling on Earth before, like, it maybe not even in recorded history, maybe, like, in prehistory, aliens came down to Earth. It was interpreted as the gods of the time period. Because there's a lot of human history before we have records. And, like, then it just became legend and mythos by the time we're in recorded history.
Yeah. Maybe that was their way to convey information from back then, putting it in these tales and stories that were passed down generationally.
100%. That was religion before there was this idea of it's in this book.
Yeah.
You know? Like, people would just tell stories, and mythology was the religion of, like, prehistory.
Yeah.
And so you would just hear something and pick it up. And it all depended on where you lived, and, like, it's crazy to think about the fact that Rome was massive, and there were cultures with different beliefs interacting all the time at one point. And there's, like, personally, when it comes to Christianity, I'm not a believer. But I think Jesus was a real dude. Most likely he was.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting to look at a lot of what Christian belief has in common with, like, Buddhist beliefs. Because there is a period of time where Jesus just, like, disappears.
Yeah.
And becomes wise and comes back. And, like, He could have been in India. He could have been chilling in a monastery somewhere, like meditating.
I think that like all of the religions are basically saying the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's really interesting how like a lot of like religious like archetypes carry on through like Buddhism and then Christianity and all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking all of them, bro.
Dude, I hate that people get so pent up on like Christianity, Judaism, and Islam.
Mm-hmm.
Like those religions all have the same roots.
Mm-hmm.
The Quran just is the extended Bible, and the Bible is just the extended Torah. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to be like saying, "Oh, my book's 2,000 years old," and like that somehow proves that you're right. Okay, but what about Judaism? It's older than that. What about
The shit
Buddhism?
older
That's
than that.
older than
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Hinduism, shit like that. Like, it's kind of crazy. And Hinduism, surprisingly, there is some that has been affected by like intermingling with different cultures.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is evidence to suggest that like European cultures invaded India at one point, and they gained some influence like spiritually from European culture in prehistory.
Mm-hmm.
And like floods are extremely common in multiple religions
Yeah.
and their beliefs throughout the world, even like Aztecs and shit like that. So there is a possibility that there was a story from like a period of where there was higher sea levels,
Mm-hmm.
or like something that affected the sea levels to change, and that it just got carried on and became mythology in different cultures.
Yeah.
Man, we're getting deep.
That got really deep. That was dope though.
Nice.
Um,
I love talking about shit like that though. I find it so interesting. Humanity is interesting in like a whole.
Mm-hmm.
But I've said before that I bet everybody thinks that like they live in a boring, awful time period. But like we're also really interesting.
Have you ever heard of the island of California? Did you ever hear about that? It's like a conspiracy theory because
Mm-hmm.
like early maps had showed like the west coast of California,
And showed California as being
California
detached?
was like an island. It was
Mm-hmm.
like its own fucking landmass, and I think it's really interesting because like it it would be a weird thing to like make up. Like it sounded like they
Yeah.
were really out there and they were really surveying
But
to
maybe
the best of their abilities. Obviously, it wasn't
probably
as
were.
scientific.
Dude, map making is so hard. Like, this might be the nerdiest shit I'll say in a while, but for like D&D and for like story writing, you have to create a world. So you can draw your own map for D&D, but it can be really hard to just be like, okay, regions like this, and like
Map making is hard.
map making is hard. So like I'm sure it was a struggle, but it's also possible they were crossing some river and putting it as closer
Well,
to the ocean.
the like official story is that they went through like what's the part like down by Mexico?
Mm,
The
that little peninsula.
yeah, the peninsula. The official story is that they saw that and then they went to the other side of that and they just assumed it was an island attached on its own.
That's really possible too. I'm sure it would look like that.
But like there were hella maps that like depicted it at the time.
Yeah.
Which I guess
So
I guess
what
you
is the
could just,
theory that it like drifted back onto the continent since humans have been in America?
maybe
That's interesting.
like how much do we really know? That's
Not humans, Europeans.
Yeah.
That's a better statement. That was really bad of me. I try to be better than that.
I didn't catch that. We're just stoned. Forgive him.
Please. I really said no humans in America before somebody was making a map.
But that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, how much do we really know as like a people? Like, I think that's like really interesting to think how much we really don't know, because sometimes it feels like, we have everything figured out, because all the scientists talk like everything is like 100% fact, and this is what most plausibly happened.
I mean, that's usually the case, though, is it's what is most likely. Like, that's how science works, is what we've seen results for.
Mm-hmm.
And, like...
But never proof. But never factually, like...
Few things are just, like, irrefutably correct. Scientifically. Like, it's always changing.
Yeah.
There could be some discovery, like, for subatomic particles or dark matter that could change how we think about something like fucking gravity, even. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there could be mysterious forces at work in the universe that we have no clue as to, like, what causes them or what's happening, really.
Yeah.
And, like, that's why it's a big time anytime we do something with, like, a hydrogen collider or whatever the fuck, or when there's supernovas. Like, we learn a lot from events like that. We've said we both believe in aliens before.
Yeah.
What if we're just Sims for a celestial being? Whoa.
I think we're going to stop there.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. Make sure to follow us on Instagram. Handles in the description as always. And if you could, share the podcast with someone and give us some feedback. Thank you.